we're about three entities before us. That is the Civil Aviation Authority, Uganda Railways, and UNRA. And we would actually request, we shall request that you will present in turn. We shall begin with, I'm seeing already, that is Civil Aviation Authority. We know that yours is not a bigger, it's not a bigger portfolio, equally with the Uganda Railways, but the bigger portion of the loans are with UNRA. So we shall begin with the CAA, and then we shall move to Uganda Railways, and then now we shall go to UNRA. So I want to give an opportunity to your side. We don't want to waste time. Let's go ahead and receive the presentations from you. Thank you so much. The members who have just joined us, they will introduce themselves as they raise issues to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chair. Honorable members, Uganda Civil Aviation Authority has just one loan that we have with the Export and Import Bank of China, that of 200 million US dollars, that was approved by Parliament on 29th July 2015, and which became operational on 10th May 2016, and is the only loan that we have. This loan is one of the funds that we are using in the bigger project of the expansion and upgrade of Entebbe International Airport, whose details, Honorable Chair, I would like to ask the Director of Airports and Aviation Security, Engineer Yub Soma, who is actually directly supervising the loan, to take the honorable members through. With your permission, Honorable Chair. So, Engineer Soma, please.
Yeah, go ahead. Thank you, Honorable Chair and honorable members of Parliament. Through the Director General, I would immediately want to bring to your attention what was the main objective, since the Director General has already given the general information. The main objective of the project was to provide adequate infrastructure and facilities at Entebbe International Airport in order to accommodate current and future traffic. 2, to upgrade the facilities and infrastructure to modern systems for more efficient operations. 3, to provide convenient and relaxing facilities for the airport users such that the passengers get a good experience. 4, to provide a bedrock for increased aeronautical and non-aeronautical revenues for the airport. Chair, I would just continue to that one. I will explain the figures in the tabular form. That is the, you can go to the tabular form. Chair, yesterday we were guided how to present the financial performance using the financial and physical method. So, but if you look, you are having this pamphlet with an A3 paper. If you look at it, you are seeing this? No, we gave it out, and there is enough copies, over 40. So, Chair, this project financial performance shows the various project components in the project, but also in it we have tried to articulate the financial performance as at 31st December 2022, and also we have tried to show each component how much and what is the outstanding balance up to date. And then we have also stated the status, the current status. And Chair, the main components, one was in the general item, the general items. Chair, in the general items, we had a number of items in it, and there was establishment on site, maintenance and demolition, insurances, sureties. These are the contractual obligations, and this item weighs 4.63 of the contract sum. So its amount was 9,259,721. And the financial performance, all of it has been used and it was completed. The number 2, Chair and the honorable members, is the new cargo center complex and the change in the cargo building. This also, that is number 2. You can see the photo, though in this is not coming out well, but within it, there was a lot of earthworks. Chair and honorable members of parliament, as you know, where there is the control tower, you are seeing we are on a hill. Now, where we were to put this cargo center, we had to make sure that we have to cut this hill by 7 meters. Now, in order for us to be at the same level with the main runway, because the runway and the taxiways must be at a particular level and it must be similar. So we had to cut that there and then rebuild. So this was a real massive work which was done in order to acquire this current area. And also in it we have a concrete apron for parking aircrafts. It's a big, though we are saying 5 parking bays, because these are huge cargo aircrafts. But if you are parking the normal small aircrafts, again, they can be very many. And this is also one of the areas that is making us ready to facilitate the G77 plus China summit and the NAM. Within the same, we have the construction of some taxiways. We have the construction of taxiway. This taxiway, Charlie, is the taxiway which connects one of the taxiway that immediately when you move from the main runway, you first taxi to a Steny taxiway, which we call Alpha. Then from it now you connect to the cargo center. So there was also that construction. And then we had the landside access roads, airside service roads, then the cargo building itself, and then the landside parking area. This item, Honorable Chair and Honorable Members of Parliament, costed in the contract which was approved by Parliament then, it was 42,667,999 US dollars. This project, as we are standing now, Chair, we have used up to, as 31st December 2022, 41,828,599, and Honorable Chair and Honorable Members of Parliament, there is a balance of 239,400. Now, this item is completed and in operation, but it has pending defects liability period, which is ending 19th December 2023. And this explains this balance of amount until they have gone through that defect liability period. That's when they can get this money, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair and members of Parliament, the third item is the new passenger terminal complex, which again you can see in the drawing. Now this one is the beginning of the down structure. This is one of the areas that did not take very early. Why? Because this was the area which was having the old cargo center. So it meant that we must first finish the new cargo complex before and make it ready for operation before we can start on the new terminal building. Chair, this is a very huge building of about 20,000 square meters, which involved, one, to demolish the former old cargo building, then to do a lot of excavation work, foundation work, ground floor works, the first, second floor works, the aero bridges in which the aircraft parks on. Honorable Chair and honorable members of Parliament, you know that currently Entebbe International Airport has 2 aero bridges. On this new building, we are going to have 3. Then there are escalators, the baggage handling systems, the curtain walling, and the finishes, and so on and so forth. This item, Honorable Chair, the amount which was approved was 62,641,199. And this item, Honorable Chair, as of 31st December 2022, we have disbursed 5,452,800. Honorable Chair, as you might see, that the remaining amount is 57,188,399, and this translates into 8.7% performance. And as I have told you, this project has just begun because we have just operationalized the cargo center in order to begin on it. Therefore, it is in progress, and it is expected, the Honorable Chair and Honorable Members of Parliament, for it to be commissioned in July 2024. Honorable Chair and the Honorable Members of Parliament, the other critical item, and which is a safety item, which is more of key in the industry, was the strengthening of runway 1735 and associated taxiways. This is our main runway at Entebbe International Airport, and it included repair of the damaged areas. It included the removal of the old asphalt. It included 60mm asphalt concrete outlay. Then it included the 200mm overlay for removal of depression in order to fulfill one of the ICAO compliance requirements. Then there is, of course, the painting works, which are one of the mandatory signages for the pilots' visibility to land on the runway. And the other item is the runway edge light installation works. Honorable Chair and honorable members of Parliament, this item constituted 19,748,106, and what we used is 19,725,200 as of 31st December 2022, and the balance on this item is 22,906 US dollars. And Honorable Chair and honorable members of Parliament, this item is complete and is in full operation. However, the defect liability period ended on 17 September 2021. But as I said, that this is a major critical item, we're still holding the money while also seeing further performance of the runway. Honorable Chair, the fifth item was strengthening and expansion of Apron 1. Honorable Chair and honorable members of Parliament, this is our major apron for parking aircraft. And this apron, it included to reconstruct it, but also it included to expand it further. Most of the areas, most of the works which were covered, excavation works, drainage works, subgrade preparation, sub-base construction, asphalt concrete works, cement concrete works. Because of the nature of the aircraft that are parked on this aircraft, most of the parking areas we use the reinforced concrete pavement. There is the floodlights installation, painting, asphalt concrete outlay in other areas, not in the areas where the aircraft park. Then there is paint markings. These again are mandatory requirement of ICAO, which have to be done in compliance of the fulfillment of the industry, creating an extra 6 parking bays for Code C aircrafts. Now, this is actually this also came as a blessing because that time we didn't know that we will be having Uganda Airlines. But if you came at Entebbe International Airport, you find that now even these which we have put, they have already been occupied by Uganda Airlines. So you see that even while we are trying to expand, but still our space is not enough. So when you come at Entebbe International Airport during a busy time, you will actually see that there is a lot of friction for parking because of the limited space. On the same facility, Honorable Chair and Honorable Members of Parliament, the strengthening also include the repair of the failed areas, tack coat works, asphalt concrete overlay works, the repair of concrete panels, paint marking, floodlights, and the 10 aircraft parking bays. Honorable Chair, the next item is the rehabilitation of apron number 2. Honorable Chair and honorable members of Parliament, apron number 2 is again one of our major aprons, which is used by especially the VVIP guests. This is at the VVIP terminal, and this included the demolition works, the sub-base reconstruction, 110mm asphalt concrete works, 125mm cement treated base works, 200mm base in crushed stone, paint marking, removal of old hydrant fuel line, repair of 325mm concrete panels of class 40, beautification of the airside at the VVIP area. Honorable Chair and honorable members of Parliament, you remember the time when we had Chogam. We had the Indian delegate. The Indian delegate came with a very huge aircraft, which put us on task whether it will be able to park at that area. So now, this time, in good preparation, all the parking areas for aircraft has been reinforced with concrete in order to be able to park on any type of aircraft. Honorable Chair and honorable members of Parliament, the next one is the strengthening. Actually, this is the reconstruction of apron 4. Apron 4 included the demolition works, sub-base reconstruction with crushed stone of 200mm, new cement treated base of 125mm concrete wiring course layer of 125 class 40, Again, there is the compliance requirement of paint markings, and it can park on the big 10 aircraft parking bays. Honorable Chair and honorable members of Parliament, again, you recall that as a preparation for CHOGM, we put this parking bay apron 4. Now, in this, we had to reconstruct it and make it ready to host, again, any type of aircraft and to be ready for any such function. So this item of apron 4 was totaling, we used in the contract, the approved money was 7,569,000. The money which is currently used is 7,535,679, and the current balance on this is 33,324. Honorable Chair and honorable members of Parliament, this apron 4 is completed and in full operation. The defect liability period ended on 30th November 2022. However, we continue to monitor and we still continue to hold this amount of money. On item number 8, that is the strengthening of runway 1230 and its associated taxiways. Honorable members of Parliament and honorable Chair, this is our alternative runway. And this runway is the one which passes around the VVIP, and it goes, you know, if you see that little beach, and then it goes into water. Again, this is one of the highly planned runway that we need to reactivate and ensure that it is an alternative runway. In this phase, we had to reconstruct it, but it will be in the second phase that we will again put the lighting for it to be operational 24 hours. This runway is in the contract was 12,462,904, and honorable Chair and honorable members of Parliament, we have disbursed 12,272,123, and currently we have a balance we are holding of 190,780. This runway is completed and in operation. Its defect liability ended on 3rd September 2021. Honorable Chair and honorable members of Parliament, the 9th item is on-site water supply system, the fire water system and its associated facilities. Entebbe International Airport used to have its water under the terminal building. Actually, where we are putting the new terminal, down there we had underground tanks. That water used to get there, then we pump it into the building. Now, we had to get it off from there, put it at a height, have the advantage of using gravity, but put huge surface tanks, which, because again of the raised area and to make it to be able to withstand the weight of this water, there was a lot of excavation works, concrete wall works, reinforcing the water tank base, because you see this was a raised area, so we had to do that such that with the time it shouldn't it should not be seen to go down as if it is settling. The casting ground slab, formwork of the reinforced concrete walls, installing of pumping system, water supply pipe works, firefighting system, testing and commissioning. Honorable Chair and honorable members of Parliament, these tanks, they have a well-established and automated electrical system that makes the water pumping for to supply the different facilities at the airport. And this item, Honorable Chair and Honorable Members of Parliament, in the contract, it costed 1,616,776. The money we have disbursed to date is 1,516,898, and currently 878 is being retained. This function is completed and in operation. However, it is awaiting the defect liability period that will be ending on 4th January 2024. Honorable Chair and Honorable Members of Parliament, all this that I have been talking about would have not happened unless there was an exploration and design of these facilities and making the different tests in order to have this infrastructure designed. And this, it included the terminal passenger building, the new cargo center complex, the pavements, the drainage, the equipment, and so on. And of course, testing testing the ground in order to see where the water table is, and a lot of those kind of studies. And this component in the contract, it was 13 million. Honorable Chair, to date, as of 31st December 2022, we have disbursed 11,519,000, and currently we are having a balance of 1,481,000. This item is in progress until submission of as-built drawings and operation manuals. So despite the fact that it is completed, because they have not yet submitted this, we still have to hold this 1,400,000. And Honorable Chair and Honorable Members of Parliament, the other one is the changes in the cargo building, which was undertaken, and this constituted the cargo building additional civil works, cargo building additional electrical and mechanical works, construction of new commercial offices, 9 cold rooms, street lighting, and additional cold and freezer room. This came as a result of the new EU requirements, which came up in 2017. But remember, this project was designed in 2014, so we had to fulfill those requirements, and therefore it caused some of these changes. Chair, this item was 3,498,305, and currently we have disbursed 3,481,057, and Honorable Chair and Honorable Members of Parliament, we are still holding 17,248.84. This function is completed and in operation, awaiting defect liability period. Chair, this project, its weight is up to 100%, and with the reviews that we have made, this project is 199,990,416. And the Chair, the current disbursement as of 31st December is 138,345,623, and the Chair and Honorable Members of Parliament, there is an outstanding to date of 61,644,793. Chair, what does this mean? Chair, this means that currently, whereas the physical performance of this project is standing at 88.8%, but the remittance of the certified remittance payment is standing at 69.17%, which means that still we have tried to safeguard the government to ensure that we are still managing the finances with us and not in the hands of the contractor. Chair, these projects, that's how we have been going with it. But however, Chair, whereas everything looks like this, but we had also a major challenge. And Chair, our major challenge was COVID-19. Because of the nature of the industry and because of the nature of the construction, we required a number of procurements which were required to come from abroad. Therefore, this pandemic disrupted the project, especially in the procurement of critical items from abroad, movement of the specialist personnel, limited time for work due to movement curfew. You all recall that we had curfew and that affected us as an airport. And some key personnel also unfortunately got affected with the virus. This also sadly affected us, Honorable Chair and Honorable Members of Parliament. And in conclusion, Honorable Chair and Honorable Members of Parliament, this caused entire supply chain process distortion. So that was the main challenge that we had to date. Honorable Chair and Honorable Members of Parliament, thank you for listening to the presentation, but also there is some photographic view. Honorable Chair, that is the current state of the new passenger terminal building reinforcement for the first slab concrete casting. And the Chair, that is the new cargo apron. That's the apron 5, which is very large. All of it, it is concrete. It's what we call a rigid pavement. Chair, that's the airside section of the new cargo apron 5, and that is the new cargo. As you can see, we say I said we already operating. That is it. This cargo, Chair, it accommodates 100,000 tons of cargo. Now, Chair, of course, when we started, that looked to be a big design, but now currently, even with COVID, we have already exceeded the 60,000 tons. So this means that with the recovery, and as you might have seen in Africa now, we are being rated number 6, and with our good strategies, definitely we will need more space for cargo. Chair, this is the completed main runway 1735 and and also the taxiways are there, but this is the main runway, and what you are seeing there and those white is our touchdown zone. Chair, this is the completed taxiway A, which we have renamed as B. Now, that taxiway is where we are having the taxiway C, which I said that now joins the cargo center. Chair, this is the newly constructed Apron 1 expansion. You are seeing that if you are looking very carefully, this is the main side, the other one is the expansion side. And if you are looking in the background, you can see Uganda Airlines aircrafts are parked there. And if they all park there, they will take all the 6 bays that are currently there. Chair, this is the partly completed Apron 1 rehabilitation. This is the completed apron 4 rehabilitation. It's all concrete. This is the rehabilitated runway 1230 and the associated taxiways. And that is the taxiway at yes. Now this is the new passenger terminal building construction currently. The first photo was to show you when we were doing now the foundation work. This is the type of building, and you can see the type of columns that are being used in order to raise this building. Chair and honorable members of Parliament, through the Director General of Uganda Civil Aviation Authority, I thank you for having listened to me. And through the Minister, Honorable Minister, you are welcome. I've just completed the presentation.
Thank you very much. Honorable Minister, we couldn't wait for you. We had to begin. We agreed that you would get us on the way. All the same, you're most welcome, unless you want to say something. But I want to thank you for the presentation. Members of honorable members, do you want to raise issues? Why don't we wait for the presentation? We finish up the presentation of the two and then, It won't. We just wanted, what we wanted, we would finish up with the CAA and the railways, and then I give you an opportunity to raise issues, because these ones have 1-1 loans. Yeah? If you want to raise an issue, I'm not allowing you.
Procedure, Chair.
Procedure, okay?
Thank you. I have listened to your guidance, and I'm not in total disagreement, sir, Chair, but it would be proper that we handle each entity as they present. We finish it, then we handle another.
Why I was making that guidance, these two, the loan portfolio is small, and I wanted us to handle them at once, then, so that the remaining bit of it we shall handle UNRWA, that has the biggest chunk of the loan portfolio. So, can I rule that the ayes have it? Yeah. Thank you. Honorable Minister, do you want to say something? Because the Honorable Minister is allowing us to proceed. Can we have a presentation by Uganda Railways?
Thank you, Chair. Honorable members, through my Honorable Minister, we have 3 items for presentation. We have one loan, which is URC capacity building, and we have 2 grants, which are Tororo Gulu meter gauge rehabilitation grant and Gulu Logistics Hub rehabilitation grant. Chair and honorable members, these are in line with our strategy to develop and
Chair, clarification. Chair, we don't have the presentation with us.
We have shared the...
With who? So,
can you give the presentations to the members? Distribute copies to the members so that they are able to follow. The copies of the Uganda Railway Corporation presentations? Do you have them?
Yes, we have copies. We submitted the copies already.
Clerk, do you have copies?
Chair, for record purpose, we don't have any copy.
The organizing.
Okay. Thank you, Chair and honorable members. So that is the breakdown of the loan and grant. I request my colleague Richard, the head of planning, to take us through the nitty-gritty.
Through my MD, through my chair, and the honorable minister, this is our presentation. As the MD has highlighted, 1 loan, which is Spanish, and then 2 grants, and therefore I bring it up here. And as Uganda Railways Corporation, Our strategic direction is there. We want to be the preferred freight and passenger transporter in Eastern Africa by 2040, aligned to the Vision 2040. And we are operating on 5 objectives. So I want to go straight to the first loan. And the first loan is URC capacity building project. So the URC capacity building project has a number of components. We have the capacity building project, which is staff training. And then we also have refurbishment of the Kampala, Namambe, Tororo, Malaba rail line. And then we also have component A, detailed technical designs of Kampala, Namambe, Tororo, Malaba section of the track, refurbishment. Then there is component B, which is preliminary design of the Kampala multimodal hub. These components have commencement dates on which they were supposed to commence, and they have a different allocation of the loan portfolio. And we want to confirm by giving each component how it has performed. The total, as I said, is 28 million. So this one is the financial progress for URC capacity building as December 2022. So we have a number of activities that took place during that time, and we trained staff by MS consultants, and then by that time, by December, we were at 33.3%, and we had so far dispersed 1.61 million euros, which is equivalent to 6.4 billion Ugandan shillings. We also had the refurbishment of Kampala Namamve, Tororo Malaba rail line, and of course this is the Spanish commercial loan. So this one is supposed to be handled by Mafia. It is also part of Spain, and by the date of December, we had so far we were at 5.3%, and we had so far dispersed 2.9 million euros. Then component A, that is the detailed technical design for Kampala Namambe, Tororo Malaba section of the track, which is a concession loan. This one is handled by consultants, and then this one was at 80%, which is 0.6 million euros. Then component B, preliminary design of the Kampala multimodal hub. The Kampala multimodal hub, Mr. Chairman, when we are given an opportunity, we display it, how it would look like. But this was specifically for the design. So it was 100% done, and this is 0.42%. So by December, we had so far, the disbursement was at around 25% of the total that is expected. And then the physical performance, in line with the different components, we have the capacity building, which is staff training, because this loan is aimed at building the capacity of Uganda Railways Corporation in terms of infrastructure, in terms of staff capacity, and so in terms of rolling stock. So in terms of staff training, we were at 3.3%, and 16 trainings by that date had been undertaken in change management, in performance management, in Excel, project management, and many other trainings. Then when it comes to the Mafia contract, we had so far completed the construction of works of the concrete slipper manufacturing factory, which, Mr. Chairman, you will see by yourself at the end, how it looks like by now. And we had the 40.2% time progress. So we indicate here that physical progress on the track refurbishment works, preparatory works, were at that level. And then on the component of the consultants, in terms of detailed designs, technical designs, The final report submitted, it was at 100% completion, and all the deliverables had been completed. Then component B is still by MS Consultants. It was at 100%, and the final report submitted. And that is, of course, still the Spanish loan. Now here we give the details in terms of the staff training, the different activities that have happened. There are very many, but we have given that detail in the presentation that we have shared with honorable members. And so may not go through one by one, but I had summarized it in the previous slide. Then now in terms of loan, that is the only loan we have. Now I'm going to talk about, because you tasked to talk about externally funded projects, we also have Tororo Gulu Meter Gauge Rehabilitation Grant. This is a grant from European Union, of course co-funded by Uganda government. And so this one was worth 47 million euros, but broken into different components. One is about works and supervision, but there is another component of the NTU international training, staff training. This was also meant to build the capacity of the staff of Uganda Railways Corporation. NTU International is just the name of the company, so it is it's not to say it is an abbreviation, but by the end of by December, we had so far dispersed as per those companies displayed above. And then, in terms of the financial progress for specifically Tororo Gulu Railway Rehabilitation, that is works, which had the contractor of Sogea Satom joint venture. By the time this contract was terminated, was at 11.50%, and we had so far dispersed 4.5 million euros. And that is the works side of the contract. What had been done by that rehabilitation, they had so far done the track dismantling of 130 kilometers, ballast supply of 6,670 centimeters, cubic meters, then ballast production of 10,000 cubic meters, slipper repairs of 9,785, then bush clearing, 60 hectares, track bed preparation, 25 kilometers, pipe culverts, 270 million box culverts of 4, and removal of level crossings, 32. Then mobilization was at 90%, and the contractor terminated, of course, the contract for delayed payment. But the good news that we have, Mr. Chairman, the process is ongoing to award the rehabilitation works to a new contractor to complete the works. Then, in terms of the staff capacity training in the same grant, by NTU, that phase was finished. The training was concluded by NTU, and all deliverables were done for that project. Then we go to Gulu Logistics Hub. It is also a grant, and of course by DFID and the European Union. Of course, in brackets we have Trademark East Africa. Of course, the main objective of this Gulu Logistics Hub, of course, was to look at the northern connection with all the cargo that is where it can be consolidated in that region. And of course, it commenced on 21st February 2020, and by 31st December 2021, we had dispersed 8.2 million, and of course was extended to March 31st, 2022. We are going to show you how the performance was in terms of financial progress. Of course, it was done by ambitious construction company, and as we talk, it is around 95% completion. and 7.9 million euros has been so far spent. In terms of physical progress, there are a number of components that were handled under that contract: container yard, administration block, security gate, vehicle holding, building yard, powerhouse, internal roads and parking, URC police, way bridge, customers gate, URC station building, only holding ground, then for trucks and connection for utilities remaining. So we only have that one remaining. That accounts for that percentage that is remaining. And we hope that it will be finalized soon. Then we come to the evidence of this performance, Mr. Chair. You can see in the pictures here of the URC capacity building loan. In terms of training, what is happening, we are using our Narukolongo Railway training, Narukolongo Railway workshop, partly as part of the training. And in some instances, we, of course, go to other different places where we train from, even sometimes at the headquarters. And so then we have also involved the sensitization of local leaders to understand the importance of railway in the country and to ensure that those who are occupying the railway reserve maybe leave. That's why you see now there was sensitization of local leaders. So that is the performance of the loan. But we also have the Imathia contract in terms of construction works. So the Imathia contract, the current level of performance is like, that is the building, how it looks like. And then this is the products that we expect. We expect from Mukono, Kampala, is going to be concrete. We are going to use concrete to avoid the issue of vandalism and to improve stability, because we shall have even a passenger service from that part of Mukono up to Kampala. And we are showing up there how it will look like when it is completed. Then down here, of course, there are the concrete sleepers piled. They are already being produced as part of the preparatory works for that section of Mukono, Kampala. And then here we are showing you, of course, Good Logistics Hub. I had talked about it. It is, of course, almost completed, and this is how it looks like. For those who have been there, this is how it looks like. And we feel that we thank the government of Uganda for this kind of intervention, and we feel more will come. And we are very sure that everybody will go right. I thank you.
Thank you very
We
much.
have even videos to show you the other interventions that URC is doing other than those loans, but with your due...
In 2 minutes. In 2 minutes.
Okay.
How long is the video?
Yeah, very short. That's a sample. Those are the new locomotives that we procured. People thought that they don't run. So, Chair, I submit.
Is that all?
No, I'm telling him. The people who are working on that section, they don't eat lunch. They are being mistreated by the Chinese. No, definitely we cannot afford to have our Ugandans being mistreated by the Chinese. Have you ever, don't you know about it? What about it? Don't you know? Please.
Chair, during the infrastructure committee inspection that came up. We took it up with the supervisor, and it's being handled at that level.
Can you imagine people not eating at all up evening? And you keep quiet about it?
No, honorable colleagues, honorable chair, when you give these people contracts, we don't command them that they recruit Sunday. So for us, we remain to receive such a complaints, we make an intervention, but as I speak now, we want the contractor over that because it is dangerous to someone's life. And I think he has rectified the problem. If it is continuing, we can still go in and solve the problem.
Honorable Minister, as when you give somebody a contract and you are talking of local company, these people must definitely be treated like human beings. You should.
We have already sorted the matter. Maybe if it is still continuing.
You can imagine if we are not going there.
But even them that not brought the issue to us and this bring good reports.
What about you? Don't you go to the field?
They don't tell us.
No.
We have reached that place 3 times and not heard of it, not until of recent when I went back. Just a young lady opened up and told us, and what we want the contractor.
And you can see, if we are not going there, these conditions of another committee will make law. People suffering very on empty stomach.
Honorable members, we want to thank Uganda Railway Corporation for the presentation. The video was a beep. I don't think they have videos.
Yeah, many.
And I'd given them 2 minutes, but the thing lasted for only 3 seconds.
I can.
Honorable Chair, there is another.
We saw that one.
Yes. Come again? No, just
on the other side of the
that is over the Nile, and that is steel coils being taken to roofings, serving roofings as our customer.
Sufficient. No. That's the board. They had gone to monitor. Yeah.
It's an Android. I think that is an Android video coverage by phone.
This is different. Uganda.
Honorable Chair and members, this is the locomotive delivering billets and grain in Jinja. The billets are going to roofings in Namamve. The containers at the back are for grain, which terminates in Jinja.
Those are the new locomotives which the Honorable said that they don't fit on the rail. So those are the ones, the new ones. Yesterday, Honorable Macho was telling us that that they don't fit on the rail. So you have brought evidence. If you also want, we can move with you, and you witness by own eyes. You can see the heavy cargo it is carrying really. If it wasn't fit on the rail, we do agree there were some hits in the procurement by those bad officers, but we sacked them, they're no longer with us.
Honorable Minister.
And we handed them over to the law, but the locomotives are working.
Honorable Minister, this video is live, and the people of Pakwach are not happy. They have just sent me a message that during COVID, the president promised that because the trailer drivers were the ones bringing COVID, and you are going to rehabilitate the road, the rail, whatever, up to Pakwach.
The line of
very happy, but
the line of Guru Pakwach.
Yes.
Honorable colleague, we have the directive, and we are in the process. I want to assure you, before 2026, that line will be operational.
you have spoiled even.
Honorable
You have
members,
spoiled both for you and my boss.
honorable members, in particular, which loan are we talking about here now?
We are talking about you. They have not told us. Which
Yeah.
loan is it?
These are other interventions
Okay.
that mitigate is that.
Chair, I want to withdraw my statement.
No,
Honorable,
it's under capacity building.
thank you very much. We have seen the video. Honorable members, we get back to business. I think now it's an opportunity now for members of parliament to raise an issue to the Civil Aviation Authority and then the Uganda Railway Corporation in line with their presentation. And honorable members are advised that let's be particular to the loan. Let's specifically ask questions that are in relation to the loan, and questions should be probing ones. I want to begin with Honorable Etuka, the other side. I'll move like this.
Thank you, Chair. I just have one observation for URC on page 3.
We start with CCA. CAA. We go
No. There are two entities we are starting with, and I'm starting with the URC and then go to UAA. Chair, as just a brief one, on page 3, they talked about capacity building of the staff. I would imagine that they give us the clear statistics of the staff whose capacity was built, because they've not given for us the number, though they have given for us how much is spent on that, and even the category of staff whose capacity were built. I think that's one thing I expected them to make clear. And secondly, Chair, through the Honorable Minister, rather through you to the Honorable Minister and the technical team here, we have got very long list of loans in this country. We have equal opportunities, and these loans are advised, or it is the technical people here who do the assessment and whatever you to say, we get loan for these projects and that. Honorable Patriota has just been talking about the Guru Pakwach line. Since 1962, we have been denied this opportunity, and the minister is talking about 2016. 2026, which is very, very disappointing. Honorable Chair, it's not the first time I'm raising this, that when we look at the list of loans, Honorable Minister, with your people, you find that the entire North, and particularly Western Nile region, is almost marginalized in all this. This one, Chair, it must go on the record. And the same applies to the Civil Aviation Authority. We have the Arua Airport, which has been talked, in fact, from 1986. Whenever the president goes to Arua, he makes a pledge about the Arua Airport. But up to today, there's nothing. Now, I pray that as we do all of this, let us have the national character in getting these loans, because these are loans which are paid. Chair, I think for now, that is all I have. I pray that as we finish the Entebbe Airport, the Arua Airport, and the Pakwach Gulu are in pipeline from this technical desk. Chair, thank you.
Thank you, Chair. And thank you, Chair. I will be very brief. Honorable Minister and the team, Chair, first of all, I came late. My name is Wilson Kazenje. I represent Nyabashozi constituency, and I'm a member of this committee. My question is to Civil Aviation Authority. The data from Ministry of Finance as of December 31st with regards to disbursements on this loan is 154.1. million shillings, $1 million, and your report, CAA report on the last page, which $154.18 million would constitute to 77% disbursement. That's from Ministry of Finance. However, you report, if you look at the last page of your disbursement is 138.345, which constitutes 69.7%. So I am wondering, this is the Ministry of Finance and this is you, so which one should we go with? Where is the balance and how do we account for this? That's my question number one. Question number two, through you, Chair, is when you look at the document, the outstanding amount balance column, are we together? My concern is on component number 6, rehabilitation of apron 2, where the status is completed. Defects liability ended on 3rd of September 2021, and you report a balance of 24,400 USD. Now, because defects liability has already ended, my view is that this is a balance. Following page, on component 7, strengthening of the apron 4, demolition works, sub-base reconstruction with crushed stone of 200 millimeter, status 99.6, completed and in operation. Defects liability ended on 30th of November 2022. Balance 33,324. Now the following one, which is component number 8, strengthening of runway 1230 and its associated taxiways, completed, status is 98.5%, completed and in operation. Defects liability ended on 3rd September 2021. Now my question, Honorable Minister, Chair, so how does this come and where does the money go?
It paid?
Yes, because defect liability is ended, meaning you have the, is it a saving, is it what? No. For now, let those be the two concerns. I submit to you, Honorable Chair. Thank you, Honorable Minister. And your team.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I want to first start by commending CAA for this enormous improvement in the way they are presented today. I think this has been a great improvement in just a few hours. Chair, having said that, I want to go straight to, what is this? This attachment here. Now, from the budget office here, parliamentary budget office, and extract this from NEC report on the loan request. On the loan request, we have about 7 components, and I will highlight a few. You will look at component like new cargo center complex. According to the loan request, this should have been at a cost of about 46,890 US dollars million. However, you are reporting to us 42,06799. Could you explain that variation and where the savings have been put to use? Same with the new passenger terminal complex. as per the loan request, it is 69,082. However, here it is 62,641,199. That variation. And where is the owner of this laptop? Things okay, but those are two highlights that I can quickly make. You have we as per the loan request 7 components, but when you are reporting here, there are about 9 components. So the question is, and even within the 7 components, there's already a variation in fee in amounts, and a positive one, a reduction, meaning there was a saving. So where did you put the savings? And if you put them in the other components that increase them to 11 of them, who approved them? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Pachuto.
Thank you.
You should be taking note of the issues the members are raising. What is the cause of the variation?
Thank you, Chair. Me, I want also equally add my voice to this neighbor of mine for Honorable Pachuto, Jane. At least the way the information you have given us, it is quite impressive. But my issue is, when do you intend to finish this job? I want that date. 2, because most of you move a lot. And when you look at like the airport of Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, Marem Julius Nyerere, do you see our airport coming out to be really almost that shape? Because we are tired. Me, I have always been impressed by, because once in a while I pass through VIP plus the old airport. I am impressed, especially during Chogam, the work that was done. Our airport, at one time, Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, they renovated, put a lot of money, but nothing could show off it was done. But they had to repeat it again. So, ED Civil Aviation, do we expect something good that would be proud of? 2, the Uganda Railway. You people really, you better pull up. Because I can tell you, it is you people who can save this country. You have seen just a simple shipment of fuel, how our fuel all of a sudden has gone down. It's a relief. I want you to put in effort. Tell us what you want so that we can have this rail line going up to Tororo, going up to Guru. Because in this next financial year, it is standard railway gauge plus your meter gauge. That's the priority. But when we continue seeing Rugazi, Jinja, please, I want you to behave like some of these countries where some people are so determined to make this Uganda a better country. It cannot continue to be a bottomless pit. Money goes to Hegwe, that's why people complain. I can tell you, let's open a fresh for you people. Think of Uganda as a country that needs the railway tomorrow. These trucks you see, even if you my dear, you put up roads, as long as we have these trucks, many of them, I can tell you a history. Let me take you to history. When this government came in, all the coffee was going by. You would find at Bugorobi there, a line of trucks, thousands of trucks, taking coffee as a back road to Mombasa, taking our coffee. But the president said, no, that should stop. It should go by railway. Do you know how you saved our roads? So I would expect we are meeting today, but this financial year, let's make it a special budget, a special year, so that we can see people getting off our roads. I thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I want also to thank CAA for a better report today. Mine is on the 13 million for exploration and design. So I don't know, it's the first item. The last item. I don't want to indulge in
the cost. Those are issues of generals. But does this design and exploration involve the master plan of the whole airport? Or else, later, we'll again see another cost trying to plan, to design, and do exploration on the airport. In other words, do we have an overall master plan for the airport, despite the fact that this is what we have managed to develop this time round, but in the future, do we still need to add on this $13 million to design the airport? Having said that, there is a point where in your presentation you talked about second phase, which is lighting. You said that is item 8. You said for this runway to be operational 24 hours, there is a second phase of lighting. Now, I was wondering, you mean we couldn't do the lighting now so that this runway is completely functional with this $12 million? If not, why didn't we do it at once? And now this runway is catered for. If this is not the second phase you are talking about, or if second phase is not catered for in this 200 million. Then I need some clarity on item 2 vis-a-vis item 11. I see it's talking of new cargo center. Item 2 is talking about new cargo center complex. And also item 11 is talking about changes in cargo building. So I'm wondering what's the difference. The first one is $42 million and the second one is $3.5 million. So I don't know, why did you have to separate them? Maybe that's why members are complaining of a number of items. For Uganda Railway Corporation, I'm wondering, with this kind of capacity building, what went wrong? Did you recruit, I don't want to use the word incompetent staff? Why do we have all this capacity building, and yet we have not shifted significantly in technology? Maybe saying we have moved from, I don't know how you call them, these manual ones to electric ones. So why this capacity building all the time? Then this question of master plan also comes to you. I think we had more and railway network before the colonial times, because like in my constituency, we had Butiabwa Railway. What's happening? Do you have a master plan for this country for railway? And if yes, what happened? Because now you had land in Butiabwa, I don't know whether you still have it. Do we have hope for the railway network to reach us? Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Mine is just a comment. And Honorable Minister, thank you with your team. CA, thank you for the presentation and the work you're trying to do for Uganda. My question and comment would be, what are the plans or how do you want this committee to support you in ensuring that you strengthen the aviation industry, especially on the inland aviation activities in the bid to enhance our tourism industry? And two, the same goes for the railways. We are yearning for the moment when we can have the railway industry network across the country like it was. I come from the Ankole sub-region. We used to hear of a railway when we were young, moving from Chikagati to Kasese. We still have deposits of tin in Chikagati, Sinjiro. We have copper in Kasese. What plans do you have? And how would you want this committee to support you in achieving them? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I want to start with the Uganda Railways Corporation. And my first concern is I would want explanation to understand from the minister when at first And even for me, up to now, I still believe the locomotives that were bought were incompatible with the railway line that we have as was presented to the country. So you are saying that the ones being used, can you tell us what was wrong and what has been adjusted now that the same locomotive is being used? And then would want to get there and see that this is the one we bought that was purported not to be compatible with the line but is now being used, and what the problem and the other. That's one. Two, you are aware you have an issue of paying 1.8 billion shillings to Kitumwa and Company Advocate using the loan money. Was that part of the loan? Was it meant to pay for the lawyer? And if you use it for paying the lawyer, you picked from which component? Would want to understand that. From which pocket of the components in the loan? Then on Gulu Logistics Hub, I want to understand how it operates. The grant that was meant to rehabilitate Tororo Gulu line stalled. And these are the factors we are concerned with. We get money, we don't do due diligence, we get into contract, the contractor terminated work. The reason, delayed payments, and yet we have received the money. So what went wrong? And how are we addressing that now? Because we want to see that line operational. That's why Honorable Member is questioning a line. Then how do we run to put up a logistics center or hub in the Gulu? And yet I thought for the train to move, there's no way you are jumping in the Gulu when you have left Soroti, when you have left Lira, and if you are to complete the connection of the business, then you'd want to have Lira, then you'd want to have Soroti, so that, and then you connect to Pakwach, so that the hubs can be connected and you mobilize all these resources to and fro those towns. So what was the planning in this? Then finally, I've seen so much of staff training, 15 trainings, 16 trainings of the 60 staff. Are the staff there? Have they taken on, have they been trained? Have they learned something? Can we go and understand what they're doing? Because after training them, have you deployed them? And what are they doing? Because I've seen 16 training of the same people. Now, also on the Tororo Gulu Highway, the training component has been handled well, while the development component is having challenges. So how were you able to only access the money from the grant for the training component, which is done, and then the one for development is very difficult to access, that the contractor had to cancel the contract? Then Civil Aviation Authority. Civil Aviation, I just want to understand what it is that somebody has completed work, the defect liability period has passed, but you continue to owe the money. In your contract, agreement with the contractor. What is the implication of that, and what exactly do you want to mean? 3, the contracts that have been completed, like the cargo center, I understand we are supposed to do audit at the completion of the project. Have we done the audit so that we can get the report to assess the effectiveness of what has been done there, and possibly the value for money and the strength of the work? Because, and that's for most of these projects that have been completed. And finally, I want to know, there is an extension because of delay. What cost have we met, or are we to pay for those extensions? Because in one of them here is presented that there is no cost. So when the extension is done without the cost, who met the cost? And then others are with the cost. So how much cost have we incurred for those extensions because of not completing projects within the required time? And I want to recall what has been presented by Honorable Bianyima, that in the terminal that we have rehabilitated, because the purpose was to give it to international standard, the beauty that would present the seriousness of the country. Is that what we are going to see on the side which you have completed and we are about to commission near the VIP and the old one that you have rehabilitated? Because we want to see exactly if you're walking the talk, because that is very important to us. The people will say we have injected money, but when you go to Entebbe Airport, it's like people only doing painting and changing location of flower pots here and there. So there we want to understand. And Mr. Chairman, there's so much about the space for aprons parking the aeroplanes. Do we still have enough land there for future expansion, or the land is not enough, so that we know what are we going to do if the land is not enough? Because you then need to acquire more pieces of land and do expansion. Thank you.
Yeah, Honorable Boalu.
Mr. Chairman, the loan before us is on capacity building. But I want to ask this question to Uganda Railways Corporation. The High Court here in Uganda ordered you to pay the former workers of Uganda Railway Corporation because of unlawful termination. You went ahead and appealed. The Court of Appeal, in its wisdom, upheld the decision of the High Court in September 2020. The update I would want to know from you, because it is all about the capacity. Now, number one, have we started paying these people? And where are you getting the money from for paying them? If you are paying them, where are you getting the money from for paying them? And if you are not paying them, why? And if you have paid, who have you paid and how much? Because these people keep calling us day in, day out. There is an old man called Otimong in senior quarters Soroti. Every morning he's at my door. He has not been paid up to now. You wrongfully terminated him. And the courts of Uganda have agreed with them. Where is the list? I thank you.
Is that in line with the loan?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes, they might be using the loan for paying those people. So that's what we want to know. And if they're not there.
Honorable Abed Bwanika.
They might be using our loan to pay.
Chair, may I want to know for civil aviation, what is your strategic goal as we develop that airport? I want to hear what kind of airport are we talking about? Because in all your presentation, I don't know where you are going. I'm only seeing pictures. I don't know how that airport, what is the strategic goal? What is the traffic that we are targeting? I've only had the cargo, and you have ably said we are number four now, number 4 in Africa, number 6 in Africa. But 6 of what? 6. So may I want to know, in Africa, the first 3 best airports, all of them are in South Africa. All of them. Where did you benchmark when you are developing ours? Apron 1 is $22 million, point something. Apron 2 is 5.56. How big is Apron 1? Because in terms of the money, it is 4 times. We just want to know, because you didn't indicate that, so that we understand that you are spending all this big money on a facility that is 4 times. Runway 1735. How long is runway 1735? And how long is 1230? So that we get an idea, because we are seeing the figures in terms of money. But how long are these runways? So that we can compare very well where you have put the money. Then ULC, ULC, you are talking about technical designing as a component of Kampala, Maraba, and you are also talking about refurbishment. Which one came first? Are you doing both concurrently? Are you refurbishing first and then you are doing the design? I did not understand that. Because that will be, if you are refurbishing and then you are going back to designing, the way you present it seems refurbishing is first. I'm now on your presentation, I'm picking what you presented. Seems you first refurbished and then you went to do design. We want to know what is happening there. Then these concrete, I don't know how you call them, sleepers. Do you also use the stones for balancing, or themselves are enough to balance? And how expensive are those concrete when you compare them to steel? How expensive? So that we know we are getting value for money. And then lastly, it is not part of this, Mr. Chair, it's not part of this loan, but when are we moving to standard gauge? Because whatever you are talking about here, Guru, people, members are bringing in Pakwachi, meter gauge is the old thing, which we should not even be talking about in this room here. Meter gauge. When are we moving to standard gauge? We just want to hear from you.
Okay,
thank you, Chair. Chair, thank you. Thank you, Chair, for Honorable Macho.
Okay.
Just raised by Honorable
Briefly.
To understand, because on the cargo terminal, the estimate was that after finishing would handle 100,000 tons. Now we are at about 60,000. Now on this other one of the aprons, the new terminal, what was our projection that we would handle how many number of aircrafts with what we have and how many passengers, for example, in a year? Because that one didn't come in the loan, which was being raised by Honorable Haben, and I thought that needs to come clearly if we have met that target.
Macho.
Thank you, Chair.
Chair, I want to thank the Uganda Aviation Authority for the expert they hired to work on their paperwork. The fact there is value for money. And I want to thank my brother, for the minister, that you really gave good advice to retreat so that they have a very good expertise. I really want to thank you. Chair, I will not have more questions for Uganda Aviation Authority. I'll have more questions when I visit the airport. Uganda Railway Corporation. Chair, we have gone in the books of history, Uganda as a country, that we are the only country in East Africa that still have a railway system which is of old Stone Age. This meter gauge has made me, as a member of parliament of Busia municipality, that whenever I cross to Kenya and go to Nakuru, I am a laughing stock. I am blessed today to see people who make me a laughing stock whenever I go abroad. Because in Busia we always go abroad. Almost a morning you have breakfast in Uganda and you go for lunch abroad in Kenya. And I'm blessed to see you, honorable ladies and gentlemen. Chair, Uganda Railways Corporation makes me remember the story that my mentor, President Yoweri Museveni, one day told us when we were at Chankwanzi, that when he took over Uganda as a country, he got Coffee Marketing Board, had all been eaten up. And he used the word eaten up. Later did I know that eaten up was meaning corruption. And he advised them that the Coffee Marketing Board, because they had requested for a loan, Mr. Minister, Uganda Coffee Marketing Board had requested for a loan to build a fence around it. And the president refused. He said, this loan, buy the machinery and give to people in rural areas to make sure that people have coffee mills. And that is what has made Uganda be the second coffee producer in Africa. This makes me come back on the Uganda Corporation, that instead of buying the locomotives, a big loan was got and put in training, which today I want to call brain transplant. Because if you compare the cost of this loan that was got and put in capacity building for project staff, a money spent on one person can do brain transplant. If you have a little IQ in Turkey and you become wiser with a very high IQ. And therefore, Mr. Chair, with your advice and guidance, I am interested to know this. Question number one, who are these people who were done brain transplant in the Uganda Railway Corporation? And where was this training, which I call brain transplant, done? Was it in Turkey? Because if you compare the cost of one person trained, which is brain transplant, it can almost hold 1,000 workshops in Uganda. And the chair, to continue, a second question. We cannot deny it. It was on media, it was everywhere, that Uganda bought locomotives that were not fitting on the rail. I'm happy that today I've seen a video when the locomotives are running. Where did you go? Did you go to Musa Bode to work on these locomotives? Where did you go and how much did it cost? How much did it cost to make sure that these locomotives now fit on our rail and can now move? I don't know whether this is Asian magic or a fiction video, but I will believe when I have seen. Because as I talk now, there are cases and accusations that we are in Uganda Railway Corporation.
Much to conclude.
Chair, on addition to my submission, capacity building being the major factor and the brain transplant in Uganda Railway Corporation,
There was a plan to construct a Uganda Railway Training Institute in Tororo, which would help to train rail officers. I want to know at which stage is this? At which stage is this? As I conclude, we know that almost all the money got as loans in Uganda Railway construction is for repair, fabrication. Can we have the status of the land of the Uganda Railway Corporation, beginning with the headquarters here? Because as I talk now, we have a one-stop center being constructed, Mr. Chairman, where people are supposed to get driving permits. What is the legal stand of that one-stop center? Did the ministry donate itself land? What was the legal advice given by the Attorney General on that matter? Chair, as I almost complete.
That should be the last
Chair, as I almost complete. I have seen in the loan 40 computers were bought at 40 euros, which means each computer 40,000 euros, which means each computer costed almost 2,000 euros each computer for training. I am interested to know who are the suppliers of these computers and from which moon are these computers from? Because if you compare the cost of computers with this cost, it makes we believe that Uganda Railway Corporation might be doing a cash bonanza, which Ugandans must understand that their taxpayers' money is being wasted. Lastly, Chairman, still in the physical progress for Uganda Railway capacity building, on page number 6, there is a report about completion of the construction works of the concrete slipper manufacturing factory. Where is this factory? Where is this factory that makes railway slippers? Because if in case it is there and at what cost, this will be a very good miracle to our people. And Chair, lastly, the cost of rehabilitating a rail line from Tororo to Gulu is the same cost of the whole capacity building training. Now I'm asking myself, this money that was put in training, although training is important, why did we use this to help the people of Kasese? Because my uncle Jimmy Mulongoti and Peter Mulongoti and me, we grew in the railway. And Chair, as we grew there, it was a benefit and a very good enjoyment that makes me have interest in the railway matters. And lastly, Civil Aviation Authority. Is it true? Because we used to have rumors about the Chinese people having taken over our airport as a mortgage. But you people, nobody, your PR, your public relations officer did not come out to talk about this matter. I really want to hear some information, Mr. Minister, because this is a political matter. These people of Nup, Abed has run away. These people of Nup really hit us that we have sold the airport.
Please,
yes, he's here, Chairman. They hit us that we have sold the airport because we got a loan. They even put up pictures saying Exim Bank takes over Entebbe Airport. And the government spokespeople, majorly you people on the dining table in the cabinet, the fishermen, you forgot to talk about this. I want you, Minister, to use this opportunity to clear to the Ugandans whether our airport has been taken over like the Zambian airport by the Chinese, because this is what my friends, Honorable Abedi Bwanika, are using for their political publicity. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, so colleagues, we are not here for debate, and now I'm going to start guiding. If I had powers, I would be switching off from here. So we are not here for debate. And I don't want to assume that many of us have had a brain transplant. So, Macho, thank you. I can't guide you on brain transplant,
but now I know the power of brain transplant. Ebola, please conclude, then Alex, and then, okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This one is to CAA. CAA, we have Soroti Plain School. There have been debates, does it belong to Uganda or to the East African community? There have been several attempts by the leaders from the region to engage and talk with government to elevate Soroti Plain School into an international airport. Now, it appears there is no headway, and whenever you come with your budget, you don't include it. What plans do you have for Soroti Plain School to be elevated into an international airport? I thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Alex.
Thank you very much. Very quickly, still.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
Phyllis and Kabus.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Very quickly, I have 3 issues. The expansion of the airport and especially the cargo bit of it. The cargo bit of it is expected to handle about 100 metric tons or tons, whatever. But as we talk now, despite COVID, those are your words, we are now handling about 60,000. Honestly, was this long-term, mid-term, or short-term planning? I really want to know. That, if I don't know where you want to categorize it, because that means maybe in 3-4 years to come, we'll need yet another expansion. What kind of planning is this? Number 2 is about sleepers. Sleepers, you're talking about sleepers. Yes, we are going to use sleepers from Kampala to Mukono, then from Mukono still, and then you also go ahead to say these other sleepers are vulnerable to vandalism, as if vandalism is only restricted to Kampala and its environs. Surely, and you also did mention to us that these concrete sleepers are much more long-lasting and not able to vandalize, yet you're not using them. What exactly convinced you not to use them, yet you know they are supposed to be used? Or you just want to continue replacing so that, like Honorable Macho is talking about? Honestly, there is a lot to be done. And as far as we are concerned, you're all senior colleagues in government and what have you. Think a little bit hard about your own welfare, your own children, your own grandchildren. What will they tell you? What will they say? That so-and-so was here as a general manager, a senior engineer. That's my dad. And they say, that one, he ruined everything that we ever should have had. You have visited these other small places. I always go around small places like Rwanda. Okay, you go to Rwanda. A small airport, but very neat. One time, actually, I did complain to my friend. He's my very, very close friend. We've lived together for a long time, the big man at the airport. And that's why I sometimes don't, maybe I have those other conflicts. And I asked him, so honestly, you are traveling from here to there. Have you ever seen a table, a desk where they do business, international business, as ugly as this of yours here? Broken completely. I said, am I in Uganda? The uniform, sometimes they put very dirty young people. I think these are some of the things that we are talking about. The first impression is so bad. My colleagues, my friends, Honorable Bongwesije, and I think you can handle some of these small things. But leave around that aside, finally, I want to ask about the documents. Is it possible to get these documents about these wagons? Because everybody was talking about wagons and gave us very bad publicity, and actually you, very bad publicity indeed. Maybe if we got these documents, looked at them, we could maybe guide the country and the other interested parties and say, no, look here. We ordered for this and we got this. So that the doubting Thomases are ashamed. The machos. So why don't we get, Mr. Chairman, I would love that we get this, so that when we are reporting honestly, we say, no, it's not like that. So that it is cleared once and for all.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Alex. Honorable Phyllis, and lastly, Honorable Kabusu. Then we get responses. We have UNRWA after.
Thank you, Chair.
No, you'll comment on the next.
Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Phyllis.
Thank you, Chair. I want to thank the team before us, especially the Railway Corporation. My concern is on page 5 about URC capacity building project. It is said that they have done training for staff. They are to do the training for staff at the cost of 17 billion Uganda shillings. If you convert the 4.82 euros.
That is 20.5. 20.5 billion.
20 billion.
Yeah, 20.5 billion.
Yeah, I was wondering, what are they training exactly to use all this money for the capacity building? Are they constructing, or are they doing what Macho
is intoxicating you. Hmm?
Here I was trying to help her to show whether they are constructing somebody's brain.
Honorable Phyllis, please proceed.
That was my question.
Okay.
I would like to know what they are training on so that they can use all this money
Honorable
for the
Kabusu,
training.
thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I'll begin from where Honorable Phyllis Chemtai has stopped.
Phyllis?
Yes. You know, Mr. Chairman, the allegations that people in URC, the way they eat money is they eat it by using metallic teeth. Yes, and this causes us to, Mr. Chairman, to worry, because capacity building and training, I wanted the officers to let us know, did they sponsor A-level graduates to go and do first degrees, masters? What nature of training are they doing? Are these usual workshops? Because I've seen, he said they are training people, and we saw photographs of people attending a workshop. And for how long has this been going? You know, when will they complete this training, and how much of it have they now handled? Mr. Chairman, the second thing is, when we visited URC as a Committee of National Economy, we were told, no, I went there as National Economy, I remember. We were told that they were planning to give more opportunity for these town dwellers to use the railway and maybe save the city from jam. When the way you see URC is not appreciated more by not only we legislators, the representatives of the people, but even the people, when you ask them whether you do exist and actually relevant, they would always be in argument. I want you to work towards seeing that people use the railway too often, that there are more routes of people. We were told it is possible to go to Narukorongo and Nambole, and it has been the story for years. Are you extending further for people to use the railway? And probably lastly, Mr. Chairman, second last. Honorable Macho and Honorable Bedwanika talked about the impression that was created by the media publication about the Chinese loaning Uganda money, and there was worry that Uganda was unable to pay the money. The explanation of the minister then was that the loan was 7 years grace period, and after 7 years we shall start to pay. I wanted to know whether through the operations and the revenues collected by the Civil Aviation Authority, are there any money now banked or saved on the escrow account, something like that? And we would be interested to know I don't think it is classified information, the escrow account, where there is some money. And if the 7 years lapse, what is our readiness by CAA to start servicing the loan? Mr. Chairman, my last observation is to do with URC. URC have not seen anything to do with marine, but Uganda Rails Corporation, the former Uganda Rails Corporation we used to hear of when we were growing up, included marine transport. Mr. Chairman, I went to Luzira. A ferry from Kalangala was due for servicing, and they had brought it for servicing. So I went there and had time to look around that Port Bell thing. It was dilapidated, old, and me, I come from water, so I didn't. I had no fear about the water. But anybody going near that thing looked at it as old, and you don't need to get near it. It so was the same thing when we went to Jinja. Under this committee, we went to Jinja, and something was abandoned. Why isn't URC taking interest in developing these facilities such that people can, when people have another route other than road, there are a lot more avenues and the chances of developing interconnectivity and trade. The MV Pamba and the Kawa, was it Kawa or Pamba, the one that has just been Pamba? Has it started working? Is it also managed by URC? Yes. Our people told us that you have neglected training people, Ugandans here. And all the work done on those vessels, those ones that are working, is done by Tanzanians. And until when should Tanzanians dominate transport industry, especially marine transport in Uganda? Are there any plans of training our people, especially those from Buvuma, na Mayingo, Sikuru, Kalangala, Kome, where to them water transport is the only available means of transport, and people have the heart to sail on the water however long it is? Why aren't we training our people?
Thank you, Honorable.
Throw more light about the escrow account, CAA, and if we can know if there is money. It's not information that we should conceal.
Last, Honorable Chivalia, then we'll get responses.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I will join the colleagues to thank the presentation that Chair, my two areas, one is that when you look at that board, existing MG, RS, and railway subsector investment plan, Chair, number 11 is Busoga Loop. Chair, when you look at Busoga Loop, the rest are catered for. Even areas where this one is talking about HIMA, branch to HIMA cement, not operational, non-existent. But at the end of the day, the remarker says, focus on preparatory activities 2020 to 2025 and develop SGR. At least there is a remarker somewhere for hope. Chair, which hope do I have to tell the people of Gavla South and Kamli district? And Busoga as a whole, I told you I'm the ambassador of the Chabazinga here. Chair, there is no comment at all, there is no hope, there is nothing. The rest of these Kampala, Kasese, not operational, but focus on preparatory activities. At least these ones. The rest, Tororo Guru, rehabilitation, so on. But there is no single hope, no single comment, no sign of a future for Busoga. So can we know whether Uganda Railway condemned the Busoga so that there is nothing for them?
and they should not expect anything, and it should just be blank as it is here.
Okay.
Chair, we had a railway station, I mean a railway line, that Busoga Loop was the best. So I will expect to have a comment. If they have to bring a loan, Chair, I will come to you and request the committee to help me.
Information.
And we sign a loan for Busoga Loop.
Information,
so that
Chair.
we save. Chair,
please conclude.
Chair, my last comment, the Chair has refused the information.
Please
but
conclude.
No.
I'm helping you. No. Please conclude.
Chair, my last part, I know somebody will help him. He will help me for Soga. My last part on civil aviation. Chair, when you go to civil aviation of recent, if you have been at the airport, I'm worried of that surface, the tarmac of that parking yard where we pass. I don't know whether somebody has observed it. Kindly, Chair, we are here, we can be quoted in the next 1 year, that tarmac will be off. We shall be back to where it were, potholes. I just want to be quoted on that, and we shall come back year after year, that tarmac of the parking.
Okay.
And in the same story, Chair, when you are entering after the checkpoint of airport, there is a long parking, that long time parking. And there is that road that leads to long time parking. But there are those barricades that are put there, and there is normally a police lady who stops people there. They tell you to go through the other side, yet you are going there. We wonder which security threat is there to prevent people who are going for long time parking, who are bringing money to park vehicles there. But the lady will tell you, go the other side, you pass, you rotate as if you are dropping off somebody. Yet it would be shorter. You can even be left by a plane on that. In the same spirit, Chair, when after parking for longer time, there is no direct line to take you where you are going to check in. For drop-off, we thank you. You have improved and somebody can be dropped off. But if you have come with your vehicle, you have parked the vehicle, and you want to move, they are working in the other area, so no, you don't pass there. So there is no shortcut through the chair. For this, you have to go through the chair.
Michael, you wait, I'll give you.
So, Chair, since the Director General is here, we need to observe that, and you save people. Other than inconveniencing them, they don't pass here, kindly cater for them so that we can do that. Otherwise, Chair, I thank you. My major thing, much as I'm talking about civil aviation, there are few Sogas that use the airport. They need the Soga loop.
Okay. Can we, now, Minister, because the questions are there, some observations, but for questions, we also need responses in writing, because they must be part of our report. And so we need them. And Clerk, let me hope you have been noting the questions. So that when it comes to them responding in writing, you must be answering to those questions. Not choosing which ones to respond to. So use some little time to respond to specific questions, not observations. Procedure.
How do they switch on this thing? For the last 3 days, I observed that you are what are they called? UNRWA have been coming and going back. Actually, yes, they were the first people that we sent them away. And now that it is past 5, Chair, would it be procedurally right that the rest of the question to CAA and URC, they respond in writing so that UNRWA can be given opportunity to present, and we finish the day, Chair. I beg. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if you heard me well. I said many of them respond in writing, but there are those that are really specific, and you should throw some light on them. There are those that are burning. Then the others, at the end of the day, we must have an answer on them. It may not be now, but the answer must come in writing to the committee, because we have a record of those questions.
Okay, thank you very much. Honorable Chair and honorable colleagues, I'm happy for the first time I saw Honorable Much appreciating, though he said that we had the machinery to work on the report. I trust my people and they have all the information. I'm very sure if you don't have skills in aviation, you cannot produce such a report. Honorable Chair, as you have guided, I will hint on a few, and then the rest we shall put in writing, but also request you guide us with the questions so that we give the right answers. We don't bring scenarios like of yesterday. Now, Honorable Pachuto, the good Pakwach line, I think you have seen it there. When I was telling you by 2026, someone said it was a lie, but now we're in 2023, and now they are in the feasibility
Honorable
study.
Pachuto, you were raising procedural issue, but they don't respond.
To rehabilitate.
So, Honourable Minister.
They are doing a feasibility study to rehabilitate the Islamic Bank. They are there, and they come 2026, that line we have studied to construct rehabilitation. And then the line is to Kitagata. The Honourable colleague has moved down. But the Kikagati. Okay, thank you very much. Honourable Chair, the line from Kampala to Kasese, we saw it was vandalized and it's non-existent, and it was the same line connecting via Kisoro to the place he's talking about. And the President advised there is no need of rehabilitating for something which is not there. Let us go for once the standard gauge railway from Kampala Kasese, then from Kasese to Kisoro. Then later we connect to the line which they are talking about, and I know we shall be there. Then for the locomotives, which not much asked for, it is also by surprise that people are seeing the locomotives moving, that what happened. Now, I must say that was propaganda, and you may call a spade a spade. You see, what has spoiled this country, when you get two thieves, these two thieves can fight to almost breaking their bones. So according to me, that thing happened, I was not there, but what I say, the ones who procured and the whistleblower, all of them were thieves. So they got a thief versus a thief. Why am I saying so? These locomotives are very good, and they are functional.
Clarification, Mr.
They were fitting on our rail line. But the main challenge where it came from is like when you have a tipper, Isuzu tipper in your compound. Now tomorrow you go to the bond, you buy the FISO. Where the tipper can turn when you're at home, the FISO cannot turn. That's what's happening. Where a Primo can enter in the gate, the roller cannot enter in that gate. So what the problem it was, here where we park, when the locomotive comes in the same direction, after removing the cargo, it should turn and prepares to go back. So the triangle here, it could not turn because the locomotive was too long in size. Now what happened, these people, all the pressure brought to the country, they were fighting what to eat because the procurement was involving over 40 billions. The whistleblower alleged, yes, there was a market in South Africa for 26 billion for brand new locomotives. And the Committee for Procurement ignored the market. There was another market for already used locomotives at 32 billions. The Procurement Committee ignored the market. Now they went and bought the used locomotives at 40 billion plus. Now you can imagine the whistleblower wanted the country to buy used locomotives from South Africa at 26 billion.
Where are those people?
First, I'm answering. You can imagine now.
First, get
you can imagine
the response.
A brand new locomotive here in Uganda. It cannot serve the purpose and it can't last long. But a used locomotive, like now the one we have, they are rated in horsepower. It can serve the purpose, it is strong, and can last for longer. So when they decided to go for the market of 26 billion for the new ones, Now instead also they escaped the market of 32 billion for the used one. They went for the 40 plus billion. So you can see the whistleblower and the procurement people, all of them were thieves. Now they have to put the country on tension. The locomotives bought cannot fit on the rail line. But however, whoever was involved in that procurement,
clarification.
we have already sacked them.
Giving you clarification.
And the president also intervened, and we have handed them over to DPP for investigation. And once they are proved guilty, the law will do its course. Then also,
Order.
Yes, Chair.
Hold on, what?
Chair, my good friend, the fact my good long-time friend, the minister, who has led the delegation, long time in the political corridor.
Procedure.
Chair, I'm trying to build a foundation for my order.
No, order you don't build.
Chair, since you don't want me to build the foundation, my friend, the minister, has led a high-ranking delegation
procedure
from Uganda Railway Corporation. And in the high-ranking delegation, I believe we have procurement officers or people who supervise procurement officers. And in his submission, he's saying that he's calling the procurement officers thieves plus a whistleblower. Is the minister therefore in order to be leading a delegation of supervisors of people whom he has called thieves? Because as I talk now, the thieves who are sacked are still in those offices acting, waiting for the appeal they made in courts of law.
Okay. So Honorable Macho, it is actually you who is out of order. Because the minister was clear. He said those people are out of office and the DPP is handling. Yes.
You said it.
Okay. Please, we need to move forward.
Yeah.
Yes, Honorable.
Except the clarification I wanted from the minister, I didn't understand his presentation on the new locomotive at about 26 billion, then the old locomotive of 32 billion, then another old locomotive for 40 billion. I just, for understanding and clarity, I want you to make me understand there that we didn't buy the new one because it seems to be weaker. Then the old one, we bought one was at 32, so we bought the one of 40 billion, which is assumed to be stronger than the new one. So I just want clarity on that. But I think would want to know those people, or it should be in your interest to follow that the DPP is acting on them and they are made to face the law. Maybe there you conclude on it also.
When you go to Japan, when you go wherever they're on the market here, for example, if you are buying brake pads for your vehicle, you may find brand new ones weaker than second-hand from Japan. So many people choose to go for second-hand because it is more durable. So please.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable Chair.
Right, well, let's conclude now these responses.
Okay.
Then we'll go to UNRA.
You following
we must
those
handle
guys?
UNRA today.
Okay, Honorable Chair, the people who were involved, none of them is here. They went, they under investigation. All these people are here, they are very good people. All those who are involved are not here. And the locomotives are working. I made it very clear. No, they are good. I told you the president directed and they were sacked. So those who remained, they are not here. And the procurement is not done by technical people only. We have the board, we have the technical PMD and other people. So all those who remained were not involved in this procurement. That's why you see they have done all what is possible to have these locomotives
Please
work.
conclude.
Now, the Kituma Magala and the company, it is true, Honorable Chair, this scenario happened where when they were constructing the flyover, UNRA getting our land, it was supposed to compensate 34 billion. And that 34 billion, before it paid, someone came, said that is my land, and now you have to deposit the money in court. To get that money from there to be paid, you must prove the land is yours. Of course, even our officers, of which I think they went wrong, they used the company. I hear in rumors, someone was working and used his company. They pledged, they went into contract to pay the Kituma Magala 1.8 billion out of the 34 billion. And this one was wrong. We advised them because we have a whole floor of lawyers at Solicitor General. So if you have anything you have failed to handle as a government entity, refer to them as Solicitor and they handle. So this one, they were given excuse that we are understaffed. We couldn't tell us why you hired someone, but we have halted it. And how this person is Kituma Magala, he has not taken us to court. That now you are boycotting what we agreed. But to see that this person is wise, they had agreed, they will pay him out of the 34 billion. Even the 34 billion has not yet come, for him he has already run to court. Then maybe lastly, the Tororo Guru, that will be last. The Tororo Guru line, currently the president directed, we engage CRBC, the one who doing Kampala Malaba, because the first contractor Sogea abandoned the site after we, the government, failing to meet our commitment. That was a grant where government of Uganda was supposed to put 26 million euros. Then the grant was supposed to be 1.6 million euros. And the government failed to meet our obligation. But now the contractor terminated the contract. We have taken it on. We shall use our own money. And now we are going to award it to the one constructing the Kampala Malaba. But then the grant, the money got finished because it was every certificate completed. Part of the money should come from the grant and part of the money should come from the other side of the government. So once the government couldn't pay and the other one was finished, the money terminated went, but now the president directed, we take it up with our own government's money and we give those who are constructing the Kampala Malaba route. Then the airport, it's not true that we kept silent. We told the country, number one, the same loan which they were saying you have mortgaged our airport, the same loan we are discussing now of 200 million, the same loan. How does someone mortgage or take your property even when you have not utilized the money he has given you? By the time they started last year, this is the same loan we are discussing. So that's the propaganda of the new people you have talked about. Actually, this is one of the best loans. These officers, if at time they could obtain the response which the government has got, because other loans there's always a contribution of 15%. So the airport is in the hands of the government, and this loan the government is proceeding well with it. Even we still have a balance of the money. They cannot mortgage our airport. That is the propaganda of NUPAs we have alleged, and we are and we are always there to answer them, and we shall keep on answering them. As you have said that it is a rumor. Now the Sorot Flying School, that school is currently East African Aviation Academy. It was an academy for East Africa. So when everyone became independent, Uganda will remain with it, running it. But now we cannot develop it when it's not our property. Procedures are going on, and the team is led by Honorable Muse Chweru to engage the East African community, since now they don't own anything in this aviation academy. They give us, it remains in our name, Soroti Flying School, as how we have named it. But currently, ownership is under the East African community. Lastly, and remember, East African, when we were together as East Africa, they had contributed the money to have the aviation school in Uganda. So each country had contributed equipments. So when it broke up, each country took its own equipments. By then the government forgot now that we have gone, let us put it in writing, we own this school as we. When the East African community came back, we don't check in the books, some of the properties which they had, it was the East African Aviation Academy, which is now the Soroti Flying School. So you cannot put money on a property which does not belong to this country. So we are finalizing with the process. Right Honorable Kadaga is there, and Honorable Muse Chweru. We are hopeful that before this year ends, that now they have resumed the business, they will give us our academy and we develop it.
Okay. For airport.
The meeting will be in Burundi next week. Then I think, Chair, because of time, I request the rest of the responses. We shall give them in writing, but we request they will give us a guided write-up so that we respond exactly what you need. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. This committee will also find time to visit the airport next week.
You are most welcome.
When we visit the airport, we shall communicate a day.
Thank
then we must also find a convenient day.
Thank you so much, Honorable Chair and honorable members. With UNRWA, we have about 14 loans which we are going to present today. We have 6 from the African Development Bank. We also have 2 grants, 1 grant from the European Union. We have 1 loan from Badea, Arab Bank for Reconstruction in Africa, and OFI. Islamic Development Bank, we have 2 loans. Exim Bank of Kenya, 3 loans. JICA, 1 loan. And then World Bank, we have 1 loan and 1 grant that we are having. So I want to ask my colleague, Roger Sentongo, to take us through the details of those loans one by one, starting with the African Development Bank.
We have, you are colleagues, you have your job. You have copies. We are given copies. We check around here. I got to have a chair. Okay. Let's proceed.
Honorable Chair, Honorable Minister, Honorable members.
and so on. Now it is coming to affect everybody. You might think I'm comfortable in my air-conditioned car. Well, it will keep breaking down because the roads you're driving on are terrible. So all of us are concerned about these things, you know. The noise we make in Parliament, we want to see it out there. Because even as we rely a great deal on Parliament, that Parliament needs to be saved. It needs to be redeemed. I say that as someone who sits in Parliament. You know, that you will speak out, try to emphasize this issue, you say, no, you sit down. That issue is not on the order paper. We can deal with it on another day. But it's an important issue. It is an issue concerning Ugandans. So the sooner we realize that all of us are concerned and must be concerned about these issues, the better. So mine really is to charge Ugandans. Of course, to charge us as leaders, as members of the National Unity Platform, but we have a unique responsibility that many Ugandans, some of whom are not even members of our party, they look up to us. Oh yes, they do. Including folks within the NRM. When we are seated in Parliament, some of our colleagues across on the other end, they will write a note and say, now, Honorable Senyonyi, please raise this issue. Me, when I raise it, they will deal with me at the NRM Secretariat. So they are looking up to us. And so we must take up that responsibility as the option and do what we have got to do. So our hope is that this year will be a year for all of us to engage another gear at all levels. This is not a responsibility of just a few. The elected leaders have got a role to play. And we must play that role, colleague leaders who are elected like I was elected. We must play that role because Ugandans expect us to use the platforms that we have. Parliament, the different councils, mayors, LC5 chairpersons, councillors, speakers, and all of that. We must use those platforms to push for a better country. That's what Ugandans expect of us. But I must say that you don't have to have a position. You have a responsibility too. Let's play that role. The change that we are pushing for is not only going to take elected leaders. As you can see, we keep fighting for our space even in Parliament. You produce reports and someone is saying, no, you will not read it, and so on. And so everybody must do what they have got to do. The liberation that has happened in these countries that we often talk about, it was not just elected leaders involved. In fact, sometimes you would see ordinary folks standing to the occasion. So my point is, all of us have got a role to play. Let's play that role without fear or favor, without making excuses. As leaders who are elected, as political party leaders, NUP, as members of NUP, as foot soldiers. By the way, foot soldiers, I need to encourage you. Never underestimate your ability and your potential. You're not just a mere foot soldier, as I've heard some of you say. No, you are Ugandan. You're a stakeholder. And so, your voice matters. So don't say, for me, I was not elected, I was not a flag bearer. You are a stakeholder, you are a Ugandan. So don't underestimate your potential and your ability. So our hope is that we will push some more this year, 2023. Tuddamu okubaaniriza nate for our media. They keep saying translate into Luganda for our news bulletin. We'll have some people to speak a few other languages, I believe, so that we see how we connect. Anyhow, omwaka oguwedde nga bwe mwagulaba, twebaza Katonda nti tukyali balamu. Munnange si kintu kyakuzanyirako kugamba nti tukyali balamu. Bannaffe bangi bafudde, battiddwa ku lwaki bakwagala nkyukakyuka, si lwa nsonga endala yonna yonna. So twebaza Katonda nti tukyaliwo era nga akyatuwadde